Today we're going to do an oil change on this 85 Honda XR350R.
This is pretty much the worst video ever made.
Napoleon, like anyone can even know that.
Hello my friends, and welcome to Tom's Tinkering and Adventures. So today we're going to change the oil on my Honda. It's a 1985 Honda XR350R. I recently purchased this. I did a video on it. I'm going to be doing the basic maintenance and a cleanup on this bike and just ride it and enjoy it for the awesome 80s Honda that it is. So let's get started. So in 1985, Honda changed the XR350 model, and this one has a dry sump, which means that it has oil in the frame. There's the dipstick right there in the frame, and the frame contains the oil. So there is a drain right at the front. Here, let me get on the other side since the sunlight is killing us. Excuse me. There we go. So we need to remove that drain plug right there to drain the oil out of the frame. And then we'll go back to this side. We also have a drain in the bottom of the engine right there. So we're going to drain it from both places. So I'm going to open them up and I'll show you some awesome oil coming out. I may not have mentioned it when I started this video, but of course you want to run your engine up and warm it up a little bit. So that one's drained out for the most part. Move over here. It's a 14 millimeter for the frame and a 17 millimeter for this other one here, which of course I left on this side. Man, I'm doing a lot of left and right moving here. That's okay. There we go. Even though, like I said, the frame is the oil tank on this. Oil does move from the engine, so that's why it has two drains. A lot of bikes are like this, so you'll know if you have a drain plug in your, or a dipstick in your frame like that, that's how it is. And now let's move to the other side again. Unbelievable. And here's our filter. Those are 8 millimeter bolts. So once these are done draining, I'll move the drain pan over here and we'll take that off. I want to make sure you have a drain pan underneath here because there's oil in this filter housing too. It's kind of nice that there's actually a filter. A lot of these older Hondas didn't have filters. There you go, she went kapunk. Popped right off. I was just about to say, you want to keep an eye out because some of these bolts have washers and some of them don't. So there you go. At this point, if you are smart and you planned ahead, there's an O-ring right there, and there's an O-ring on this, on the filter housing. So you would have those on hand, so you could replace them. But if you're in Tom's garage, you probably didn't plan ahead because you were just excited to change the oil. And then there's also crush washers under each of the drains that you should maybe have on hand. I have a variety of those around here. Now, if you have to reuse them, I'm telling you, like 99 out of 100 times, you're not going to have an issue, but it's not a bad idea to replace them. These filters are almost Tom and Idiot proof here. It says this side and spring towards engine. So you put the spring in here, right in the center. You put the filter in there, and you put the cover on, and then you snug these bolts down a little bit at a time. I'm not gonna be able to do it while I'm holding the camera. Well, I could probably set it up. Let's see if we can get her set up, and I'll show you. And I'll give you a little trick for this. Sometimes these can be a pain. So here's my trick for the spring. Grease. You can put a little bit of grease on the bottom of the spring where it sits in the engine. It's probably a little bit much, but that's okay. We'll just spread it out a little bit. There you go, a little bit of grease on there. Put that in there. And now it's not falling out. And grease ain't gonna hurt nothing. That's just oil product. And this side towards engine, boom. Put that in there like that and get these all started. And voila. All right, like I said, you check the oil, you fill the oil in the frame. This thing is supposed to hold 1.6 quarts. I am going to put 1.5 quarts of Honda, what I got here, HP4, ooh, fully synthetic, I don't know. Probably okay for this bike. Let's put it in there. So I'm going to put 1.5 quarts in here and then I'll show you how to check it. All right, I've added 1.5 quarts in here. So now if you were to check the oil, I think it's going to probably show that it's way too high. But what you want to do, tighten this down, start the bike, run it for a minute or two, and then let it sit for 30 seconds and then check the oil. Because you want to run the oil through the engine, make sure everything's circulating. Anyway, that's just the oil check procedure on these. You never check the oil cold or after you fill it. You check it after you ran it. So let me fire it up and we'll check it and see how she looks. All right, it's been running for a couple minutes. Shut it off, sat for 20-30 seconds. Check the oil. And I don't know how well you can see that. We're kind of on the lower section. I didn't screw it in, but we'd like a little bit more than that. So I'm going to add a couple more ounces. I got 1 quart and 20 ounces in here. And we're about exactly halfway. I might add actually a couple more ounces just because, you know, this is an air-cooled engine, so the more oil you have in it, the better. But we're safe. We're in the between the upper and the lower. But like I said, I probably will add a few more ounces just to give it a little bit more oil for heat dissipation. But otherwise, that's it. It's pretty straightforward and simple. Nice Honda air-cooled simplicity. We love it. This engine should last a good long time. Keep fresh oil in it. Change it often. Very simple. I don't know, like I said, I put synthetic in there. That's actually a friend of mine. I helped him out on his bike and he bought me this oil change kit, so that's kind of why I did it. But she was due anyway. All right, if you're liking my content, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment down below. If you're not already a subscriber, please consider doing so. Thank you very much for watching. Get out there and find your adventure. Adios.